Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 27th, I believe I'm correct, of October 2018. Today, as our special guest, we have Ruth, also known as Sephira. She's been a longtime member of Human Colony, and we'll give her an interview in just a moment. Just to give some little housekeeping things about what's going on in Human Colony. On Fridays, we have the free channeling class that's free for everyone to join. And you can go to Facebook and look up Hucolo channeling workshop or Hucolo channeling class, and you'll find it. You can join it. It's free to join. It's every Friday, and it's run by Ian. And then on Wednesdays, Ruth, you're going to have to unmute yourself now. On Wednesdays, we have the Hucolo workshop together hangout that Ruth runs. Why don't you tell everyone about that real quick? She's also our channel, but don't jump ahead.
Thank you. So hello, everybody. So Wednesday, I started after I attended the Dansville workshop, which was awesome. And there was a lot to process afterwards. It was great. So I thought I would set up a regular meeting for those from the workshop to be able to meet and talk about what they experienced and just get together and be together. However, it's morphed into more people coming who are not in the workshop, but a very beautiful, deeply spiritual group. It's wonderful. So that's Wednesdays, and I may split that into two. So if people from the workshop or a lot of new people want to come, I may split that into two separate meetings. But at the moment, it's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. New York time. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So that's Wednesdays. And then also on Saturdays, there's been some calls for people if they want to hang out after the actual webinar and talk about what was going on in the webinar. We'll see how it goes. It depends on how many people are here, but we'll just hang out, have some coffee, maybe eat something and talk to each other about what's going on. So there's lots of other things going on. Also coming up on the 10th and the 11th of November, Jim and Wendy, Will, and Angie will channel and speak light languages and present the truth about light. These were downloads that they had, with the exception of Wendy, who wasn't there, but she was there in spirit. The information they got when they were in Machu Picchu. They'll be channeling Elijah, Melchizedek, Athos, emissaries of the Light Collective, and various archangels, and maybe more. You can go to hucolo.org and just a couple hours and you can get that information. Also, it's going to be posted on the Hucolo main group and all the other different Hucolo groups. So look for that. But that will take place on Saturday, or excuse me, yes, Saturday, November 10th and 11th, and it starts 3 p.m. EST. So I'm just trying to see if there's any other thing else. The cost of the class is 111 USD. And you can get the information to sign up for it on the website. So, okay, let me get to you, Ruth. Back to you. So, Ruth, how do you want us to call you? Because you go by a couple different names, you know.
I know. It's a long story. I was born Rory. I changed my name to Ruth when I was 25 because nobody ever got Rory straight. So. Yeah. Everybody got Ruth pretty quickly.
We had the Gilmore Girls. Everyone would have known. Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I predated the Gilmore Girls by a few years. And I was in Hawaii in 2008, from Germany to Hawaii, and I was talking with a woman who was a contactee. She had a lot of amazing things going on in her life. And she was explaining how she got her name from the book of Lyra, or the Lyran book of names. And I was sitting there and I said, well, what would my name be? And boom, within seconds, I got the name Sephira, which means vessel of God. So I prefer Sephira. In my professional work, I use Ruth or Rory. So yes.
Okay. So today we'll call you Sephira then.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right.
Because I want to be a vessel. Especially today.
So tell us, because you've been in Human Colony since the beginning, really, the very beginning, and
yes.
So, but for you, did you come in already channeling? Did you start channeling when you came in Human Colony? How did that work out? What's really your story and your journey to channeling?
I began.
Sorry?
Became a born again Christian at 18, and we would go to all night prayer vigils. And I began channeling then, although I wouldn't have called it channeling. It was called the gift of interpreting tongues.
Yeah.
So
Or words of
somebody
knowledge.
would, yes, so somebody would speak something in another language. I would interpret it, but I was very, very shy, and it was like a tremendous feat for me to do it. I would feel this fountain in the middle of my stomach bubbling, and I would hear the words speak. And I'm like, no, I can't. The fountain the pressure got so big that it just kind of like out of me like that. I didn't have any choice at that point. And then I would give this message, and it would be like, my children. It was a really deep voice and a big message. And afterwards, everybody's looking like, how did that come out of this shy girl,
Yeah.
So I actually started, but didn't do it anymore. I mean, I've been in spiritual movements or religious movements for years. So I have prayed, and I have felt spirits around me, some good, some not so good. I've been touched, I've been spoken to. I so I suppose I always say that we all channel every time we talk to someone, and we're sharing ideas, especially if they're ideas of a higher ideal and value. Then that's also channeling. But I didn't really come into the idea of channeling myself in this way until I met Human Colony. Of course, I read the books of Seth, but I did start reading the books of Seth when I was in my early 20s, and that was from Jane Roberts, and that was channeling. And that the information in there was so amazing, but way beyond my belief system. So I kind of put it aside for a while.
Yeah.
So I came to Human Colony in, I think, the middle of 2014, or late 2013. And this is when Max was first having his meetups on Skype. And yeah, then it kind of morphed into the YouTube group. And yes, so I channeled a lot at that time. And I stopped for a while. It's been a few years. And one reason I went to the workshop in Dansville, New York, was to kind of kickstart that again in myself. And it did. Channeling regularly since then. It's about a few months. But it's, I'm not Jim yet. Had I kept at it, I would be Jim now in female form as far as channeling goes. But I didn't. So, but it's okay. I'm starting now,
Everyone
and
shares their truth in the time that they're supposed to share it. So,
yeah,
it's all in good time. I have a question though. Maybe I don't know if you thought about it, but how did the messages you were getting, like when you were in church, how are they? Could you do you think that they're the same that you would give out now? I mean, are they the same? Were the messages definitely more Christian oriented, or was it a more universal message than, say, than what we
that's
would
a good question.
interpret? Do you know what I mean? Can you remember or no? Because I went to a Christian church, and I remember there was a woman that used to all of a sudden, and she did, it was just all these big messages.
Oh.
Some of them were pretty, some of them were pretty much like, you guys better clean up your act, or things are going to go really wrong. But other
that could have
love messages.
that could have yes. That's a really good question. Were you on Long Island? Maybe that was me, and you were there.
No, I was in South Carolina, so no. But
okay. Oh, all right.
church,
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
Well, they were very powerful messages. It was God talking. I remember that, because he would say your father and things like that. And often, love, talking about how much there is love, but also usually mission, to sort of serve and, get deeper into a relationship with God. Paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words now, and it seems like the channelings I do now, because I've done several written channelings, and I posted them online.
1 second. Let me just mute. Okay, he's muted. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've done a lot of written channelings recently, and they seem also to be encouraging and full of love, but also admonitions, to serve and to serve, more or less, to take what we're learning and do it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times they're a call to action. I know for sure. So
Yeah.
you channel now, and you channel many beings. Some you channel more often than others, but who are you channeling, or who are you channeling, say, first, and who are you channeling now? Maybe you can give that sort of timeline.
That's hard to say. Recently, I used to channel Arusha. She's a blue Pleiadian from Lakesh's planetary system. She's a very joyful, loving, amazing being, and she's blue with blue blonde hair, sort of like a My Little Pony kind of look. I remember meeting her once in a dream, and she said to me, she goes, "Oh, you're beautiful." And she said, "Where'd you get the goods?" It was so cute, like trying to use, human jingo. It was so cute.
Yeah.
So she's come through, and then there's Rujan, who is from the eighth density. Haven't channeled him in a while. Comes on with a very strong message. And then General Morgan, I began to channel in Arkansas, in our Ukalo workshop in Arkansas a few years ago. He's a Naga. He is the one that has been coming through I call him, well, he gave me the name General Morgan.
General Morgan, okay.
Yeah. Which is one reason why you see the name Trinity Morgan on my email.
Oh,
That's kind of that's kind of like in honor of him.
okay.
And he comes through a lot. There is Pleiadian, someone from the family who comes through as well, but more in smaller groups. He will be coming today. So yesterday there was an angel who came through, and so I don't know. I tried to find out who's coming through today, and I didn't get a clear answer. I did get an answer that somebody that I haven't channeled before, who I don't know, also wants to come through.
Okay.
So I can't really tell you. I'm sorry, very clearly.
Oh, yeah. We'll find out when we find out.
Yeah. Yes.
So how do you want to start? Do you want to start with a meditation, or it's your call, however you want to begin?
Yeah. If there's anybody who would like to, it doesn't have to be in light language, but it could be. Does anybody have a light language blessing before we begin they would like to offer?
Sure.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Is that Michelle Euro?
Yes, thank you for using my last name. That's amazing.
I'm so sorry.
Hi, Trinity. Good to see you.
You too, Michelle. You too.
Yeah, you might want to put Trinity on screen at some point.
She is on screen.
On my computer, she's not. I just see you.
I have her locked on screen. That's weird.
Yeah.
I have her locked on.
I don't know what's going on, but that's what I see. Maybe
I don't know why that is. Does everyone still see me?
I just clicked on her, so now I see her. Okay.
Oh, maybe you had clicked on me then, because
Yeah,
I have it clicked on her that the YouTube is seeing her.
Okay, gotcha.
So no little snippy remarks there about me.
No, it wasn't snippy. I just want to make sure that.
No, I know, but I was like, I really do. I have the white box on her, so everyone should be seeing her.
Okay, very good.
Okay, cool. Go with your blessing then.
Okay.
I'm muting.
Namaste.
Did you have an interpretation for that, Ruth? Or
No, I'm sorry. Thank you, Michelle. I was muted. I wanted to say thank you right away. Yes, beautiful. Thank you.
does anyone else have a blessing? Okay. Well, I think we can start then.
All right. Karen, would you like to give a blessing, whether it's in English or the
Yeah,
Ruth
I can give a
language?
blessing.
That would
Sure.
be awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Riarkar sambiambigala koroima, nidarasha, li sapokoriama, iakam patiama shulia, si santoriame, di faria kasha, lia seketi, upora mandala, kiashmia, ufania kapata, doriame silaria sa, tu, alakapati, nikafani, boriama, oriasa sancho, kashile kopetina rigarbadi, Oria silar krimende, naria fasikata. Shapatu, mashila, resi, kuniamania, deco, aliaco pasati, kanamiaria, oradia, bedicara sonti, chomala, yasia, ambiara. Tia yapatoko, iamande, toshalia, tu mande.
Thank you. Thank you. Very beautiful. Okay.
Oh, Dave has one, I think.
Hi, everyone.
Do you
Hi.
have your camera on, Dave, or no? Okay. Do you have it on? No. Okay.
Sure, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Bragana sheliaiwaka, brahanza forjunda, beusha inda nas, nahu elia uaka, brahu estanda, brana sio uaka, naiua, anasaiuk, brahu shanedodua, uakansa, frua ashtbe. Nahu tebeshton onaha ewak dewa shendura bewashandai anasaute brahun ana iwaka bishonda nahatu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Somebody waiting. I'm going to begin. Thank you for your blessings. And we come with blessings for you as well. You can call me Corey, and I am from the Yahyel Collective. And I am somebody that this host has not channeled before. But we send you many greetings. And we are always willing and happy when there is any of you who are willing to put themselves forth and to use their body and their voice as a channel for us, because we always have much to say by way of encouragement and counseling for you. So, greetings.
You said your name is Corey and you're from the Yahyel Collective? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, now we're having feedback. Okay. One moment. Let me just make sure that everybody is muted.
There is great silence.
Can you hear me or not?
I can hear you. Yes.
All right. Okay. Just for us, just because there was just a moment of feedback, so we all kind of stopped. But if anyone has any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. And Funa's I'm just going to call you Funa. Funa has a question. Go ahead, Funa. Can you unmute or not?
Yeah, hello.
Okay,
I was just wondering, like about communicating with you. How would that be easier for me to do? You know what I'm saying?
What practices do you have that brings your emotional, mental, and spiritual state to a higher point?
Well, nature, I guess.
Very well. It will be easier for me to communicate with you when you are in nature because it is vibration matches vibration. And now that my host has a lot of spiritual help surrounding her, it is easier for me to come into her or her to meet my vibration. It is vibration and intention. If you would like to communicate with us, we are always ready. But it is easier for you to hear and to feel and to perceive and to speak when we can come in more fully and fully and fully the higher and higher you go, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you.
So-
Thank you very
Yes. But please ask for me. Go out in nature and ask for me, and you will
What-
perceive me as much as it is possible to perceive at your vibration.
How did you introduce yourself again? What was your name?
Corey,
Oh, yeah, thank you. All right.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle has a question. She's painting apparently, so she can't ask. But she said she wants to know from what dimension are you and what gender? Maybe you can give a little bit more of a description of you, yourself, your experience of.
How about
being.
Michelle describes herself to me?
She's mentioned that she was painting and she could not. So that's why I'm asking for her.
I understand, and I am being a little bit comical about it.
Okay.
Does not really matter which dimension I am from. I can tell you that I am male, and I am from the collective, so we are, well, it does not matter which dimension I am from. I would like you all to feel me and not think about me. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Ask Michelle to feel into me and then tell me later which dimension she perceives me to be from.
Okay, Michelle, please feel into Corey and let him know later which dimension you believe him to be from, because she's also asking about planet and star systems. But if that's not something you're going to share, then why don't you say maybe more? What is your primary purpose for coming to us today, which we're very happy to have you, and what is it that you are here really to teach us at this moment in time?
We all come to help you on your journey to your destiny, which is your fourth density, fifth dimensional selves and higher, step by step. So whatever you need to hear from us, counsel we can give you. I believe that throughout the weeks and months and years that we have been coming to speak with you, from all the reading and all the talking that you do among yourselves, the information is quite ample about your chakras and to clean them and how to strengthen yourself through them, about raising your vibration, about what a heart of love is all about and acceptance. These are not new concepts. I would only be teaching you much of the same. However, if I could help anyone by way of counseling with something they might be going through on this journey, then I am happy to do that. And we all are. And this is why we come, to help you help yourselves and to help you unite as a community. to become a network, to become a net, not only to meet and disperse, but to be a net. This was said the other day in a different channeling. To become a net, that you hold each other up, and that you can, from this support system, you can unfold all of your gifts. Not to say you are not already unfolding your gifts, but there is a need for a feeling of safety in order to unfold them even more and to go more public with what you might want to go public with. Not everybody needs to, but some of you want to, but you fear it. And so we are here to help you with all of that.
Okay. If anyone has a question, please type it in the chat and we can have you ask Corey. I have a question for you, as I don't see any questions at the moment, about light languages, because when we speak light languages, we trust that the information coming out of us is relevant to our need or something that we need to learn or something we need to integrate or a vibrational attunement that we need to receive. But do you and your species also use light language in the same way? Is that a system that you employ?
Well, when you use light languages, you are communicating the languages of different beings, of course. So if somebody is communicating my language, it is considered a light language, but we do not necessarily need light language in that sense. You're channeling my language. Somebody is channeling my language, or the language of a Lyran, or an Andromedan, or someone from Orion. Several different languages are available. And it is connecting to the beings themselves and their energy when you are communicating in their languages. It is to learn.
Oh, go ahead. Please continue.
Yes, when these beings are communicating in this way through the light language, yes, they would normally feel quite uplifting. And for those who can interpret the message, it's not always necessary to interpret the message because the messages are usually more or less the things that I have just shared about that we have been sharing with you for many years. They're just said in different ways. They're meant to inspire and encourage and to help you believe that there is more beyond your physical body and that your spirit goes way beyond your physical body and that your soul is connected to many galaxies of lifetimes and will be in the future. It is a preparation to live in the next life.
Do you think there'll be a moment where the understanding of the language becomes embedded in the mind of the person speaking the language? Because for now, the majority of people, I would say, don't have any idea what they're saying, but they're only letting a flow of energy come out of them in the word, in the formation of sound and syllable that is inspired from something maybe deep within. But it's not like I'm speaking to you right now where I know exactly what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I forgot the beginning of your question, my dear.
No, the question was, would someone, because you stipulate or you stated that the language is a preparation for communication with other beings, and my question is, if that's true, then is there going to be a moment where you understand what you're saying, word for word, or within
Yes,
blocks?
of course. Yes, of course.
And will that
It
be
is
Go ahead.
there are many who can, and there are those who speak languages all over the world. They are not here in your community, but they do, and they understand. And it is like the hostess was speaking in the beginning about speaking of tongues and interpretation of tongues. It's not always meant for the person speaking the language to interpret it. Why? Because you are a community and you are meant to be a community and you are meant to need each other. So it is not always I will not use the word appropriate. It is not always, in any case, it is good when one speaks and another interprets.
Okay.
This was probably what is meant to be, so that you can need each other and learn from each other. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yes. Thank you.
And it is important to use the intuition, of course, and to feel. I want you to feel me, not only hear me, but to feel my energy, because it is of great intention. It is of good intention to move you, to touch you, to raise you in your energy and in your love. And this gives you encouragement and energy to have the power to knock over obstacles instead of feeling overwhelmed by them. You see an obstacle, and therefore the next thing is you see a solution instead of feeling overwhelmed and run over by your obstacles. So we are here, I am here to give you that energy, and that it is your own power, but to ignite your own power more and more so that you can move forward despite any obstacles that may come your way, which of course are lessons, and sometimes they are just thrown in your way to keep you from moving forward. But it is still nonetheless a lesson to kick them aside when you need to.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So I say, feel me beyond hear me. We are, of course, coming from a higher dimension to you. That is natural. It doesn't matter whether it's 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th. The message and the feeling of the message is what matters.
Okay. Thank you for that. Ava has a question.
Ava.
Hi. When we live in this third dimension, we have a lot of helpers who feels like army of helpers, our higher selves, angels, guides, and in my case, several more beings. Is that, I understand that we have a veil and we don't see who we are and we don't understand much here. But when we are in higher dimensions, let's say fifth dimension, do we still have these helpers? Do we still have higher selves and other beings from higher dimensions helping us and guiding us?
There will always be a process of ascension, no matter which dimension you might find yourself in. And there will always be those who are from those higher dimensions who come and help in other dimensions to move forward. It will not necessarily be the kind of help that you need now in your earthly dimension, because there is a blanket, there is often a blanket of deep, dark clouds that make it difficult to break through and to show and communicate as much as you said your guides and your higher self would like to. You can integrate your higher self into your being more and more through meditation and through acts of service. And when you do this, it becomes, you clear the air, so to speak, around you. The clouds start to move away, and it becomes easier for you to hear and to perceive who is there and who is helping you. It is something to be vigilant with. One needs to be vigilant with this kind of preparation and this kind of clearing in order to connect more deeply. So in the higher dimension, there is always, God is infinite, and all of our beings are meant to constantly evolve and develop towards that infinite being. Therefore, yes, there will always be a need for help, but not in the same way. It is more guidance or communication. There will be when you get into other dimensions, and it will be easier to open up those channels. Yes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. I have another question. It seems to me that life in this 3 dimension is honestly challenging, but like in my case, I keep coming back, and other beings do the same. I know that we come here because we have missions, but is it also that there is some, how do we perceive it? Do we perceive it as fun from, because that's what I also heard, that it seems like fun from different perspective, from higher dimensional perspective, although it's not so fun when we are here. But is there anything also personal here? I hope you understand the meaning of my question.
Not exactly.
Okay, besides the mission, like higher point of view, trying to help, trying to move humanity to ascension, do we have like something personal here? Because we are choosing to come.
I am not completely understanding your question. However, I will say this, that those who choose to be incarnated in a time when the earth is its most tumultuous, before they come with a feeling of great joy and joy to serve. At the same time, maybe this is what you mean by fun, but at the same time, they know that there will be challenges, but when the infant is born, it forgets all of these. Otherwise, it may not want to grow up, so to speak. I'm being a little bit comical now in this moment, but yes, it is good to forget and to grow up and to be able to contribute why one came to contribute. Yes. And they will meet the other beings and their soul group and those along the way who help them towards the reason that they came to the earth, even though they were born unawares. Although there are many children being born that are aware much, much sooner than, let's say, in your generation or the generation before that. They are born almost aware and they become aware quite early. And they are already, you see young children doing amazing things in this world, discovering cures in their teens, serving the homeless below the age of 10 years old, rescuing animals, doing counseling even. There are so many young children doing amazing things on your planet right now, and they need to be encouraged to continue. It is your children who will save you, it has been said. Nonetheless, your question, yes, people do come with willingness and joy, and they forget in the beginning, and then life is hard for them because somewhere in their spirit it is a knowing that this was not where they came from and what they really wanted to face. And yet there is also the question of the ancestral lineage. So your mother and your father come from 8 generations and more beyond, but 8 generations that affect their particular life now and the life of their children. So this also has an effect on the individual. So if the ancestors battled with addictions or spousal abuse or compulsive behavior, or there was murder in the last 8 generations, these energies leak down into the lives of those living it now. And there may be situations where they are faced with similar challenges and they can overcome it. And when they overcome it, they begin to dissolve the ancestral burden. So there is the burden of what the entity came for, and then there is the burden of the ancestral. But there is also great joy and great connection with God when you all seek it to help you on that journey. Has that answered your question?
Well, my question, it's interesting because on one point, I understand my own questions, on the other, I am not sure myself, but I really loved your answer, and I am blessed with amazing child, like you mentioned. So thank you so much.
Very well. You're welcome.
Thank you. We're going to go back to Funa. Funa, go ahead for your question, then we'll go to Lucia. Go ahead, Funa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot my question because you gave so many answers already. But
Okay,
I-
well, we can go to Lucia then and come back to you in a little bit when you have a question.
yeah, my question was, I remembered it. It was like you could tell us a little bit more about you, about how you perceive life, so to speak. If you get my point.
I am here to help you perceive life.
All right. Thank you.
I do not understand what you mean by how I perceive life. In my world, in my life?
Yeah, exactly.
And how will that help you in your life right now?
I guess spark my imagination or something.
And how do you imagine your extraterrestrial friends to be living?
Oh, I see it as a very rich world, and there's a lot of communication going on, and I think it's very loving and all of the good stuff.
Yes and no. Yes and no. We do not love with the same erraticism, with the same intensity. Our actions are more based on purpose. You can liken it to, and this is not meant as an insult to this kingdom, but you can liken it to the ant kingdom. We are very, very connected, yes. We know what we need to do, and it is communicated to us. And we work diligently at it, and we help to build, and we help to facilitate education and to facilitate our missions to come here and to communicate with so many of you around the world, which we do. So our lives are not as emotionally intense. So you say all the good stuff. You might be perceiving that from a human point of view, but I would say that we live a good life, that we live to support and to build and to educate and to heal and to love in our way, which may be different from your way. And some of our civilizations are not open to intergalactic trade and communication, and some of them are. We are interested in your world because it is moving forward, and we want to help you move forward with it. And we want to help you to help others to move forward with it. The purpose of your being here and to grow and to understand more is to become an example in your own family, in your own life, the community around yourselves. Some of you want to be ambassadors, and this requires involvement and taking responsibility for others around you and helping where you can. So we're here to facilitate that. If that has answered your question to some
Yes.
satisfaction.
Yes, thank you very much.
Very well. Lucia.
Yes, hello, this is Lucia. Thank you for coming. I'm going to go back to the subject of light languages. And I was wondering if you could expand on the effects, or more so the healing properties of light language, such as the physical and or emotional, for the person who is speaking the light language and for those who are hearing it.
I will give you the image of taking a shower. How do you feel when you are under the shower?
Oh, how do I feel under the shower? Well, very nice, thank you.
Light language is a shower. You can think of it that way. It is falling down upon you, coming through you, and just cleansing and lifting up the heart and giving wisdom to your soul and your spirit, even if you do not understand the exact words. You do not understand the exact words of the water, but the water brings refreshment and cleansing. It lifts up the spirit. It even gets people to sing in the shower and to speak languages and to do things they normally wouldn't do in front of a camera, perhaps. But it is that kind of a breathing out and freeing feeling which showers down upon you. This is one of the purposes of light languages. It is not always necessary to be shared with others. It can be just your own shower. It can be shared with others as well. It can uplift others as well. There are many types of languages spoken which bring codes to help facilitate the strengthening of the human blueprint, so to speak, where there may be holes in it, or there may be weaknesses, or there may be exhaustion, or there may be breakages in the genomes or the DNA codes. This is another type of language that is given to you through others, through certain others. At the same time, it's not necessary to understand the words. When you listen to Italian music and you do not understand the words, you can feel music, or in a language you may not understand, and yet you can feel completely inspired and moved by this song, by this music. It is the same with classical. There are no words in that sense, but the classical music and the tones and the harmonies can inspire great imagination for great things. It is an incredible venue of codes coming through your music on your world. But not only your music, all forms of art are codes. You can look around you and see codes everywhere and see light language everywhere if you choose to. It is all a matter of perspective. And when you raise your own vibration, you see them even more. You suddenly see things you didn't see before. It's like watching a movie 5 times, and each time you say to yourself, I don't remember that. I don't remember that from the last time. And so it is, the higher you raise your being, you will look at the same thing and see something new. You will see that there are codes and lights and languages all around you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, partly. I have a following question about this. I've heard that some people can actually heal wounds with light language. Let's say I were to cut my finger, and just by speaking to it, I could heal my finger.
yes, it doesn't always have to be light language. It is a matter of understanding that you, all of you, have the power to move matter with your mind. There are different movements on your planet who practice this. They will not call it light language, though. It doesn't really matter. And that is fine. That is fine. You can imagine, I mentioned a shower. Imagine this energy coming down and filling the cells of your body. How nice that is. How nice is that image? Like a waterfall. And also releasing and letting you know that you can have the power to do exactly that, even if you're not speaking light language. You can look at a wound and heal it if you practice, if you believe. Did not your Jesus say, with a grain of a mustard seed, you can move mountains? You only believed. And there is the key word, believe. And it is very difficult because most of you grow up in an environment where belief is given to you in a very structured and dense manner. And these experiences of seeing wounds healed is not something that most of you have grown up with. But those who are advanced in their spiritual awakenings, like many Buddhas, so to speak, many yogis, who can do the same. They will not tell you it's a light language. You can call it light language if you wish. It doesn't matter. Just believe that it's not only some who can do it. You can do it as well if you believe and look and believe. But there's always a part of humans who look and say, I believe, and nothing happens. And then they throw it out the window and say, oh, well, it didn't work. And so they give up. So it is a matter of perseverance and belief. And if you believe that you can do this with light language, then invite that light language in and use it.
Thank you. One other question. Now, when we first start speaking light languages, what is it that determines the species of language? Is it our DNA?
It can be your DNA, yes. It can also be your energy is high enough to attract in language that might be around you at the time. It doesn't really matter.
No, it was out of interest because there's something that is coming for me at the moment. It's trickling in. It's very natural. And I was just wondering the type of it, why is it more one type than another? That is all.
That's fine. Okay, I understand. I know. I know. It is only that intellectualizing stops the process.
Mm.
This is what
Yes.
I was trying to tell you, my dear. I do understand.
Yes.
And you have a very curious mind and an intellectual mind. And if it is possible to let go of the intellectualism, then that trickling would become more like a waterfall. And once it became a waterfall, you would have all the answers to your questions. You are seeking answers before the waterfall. But once you allow the waterfall, the answers will come.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you very much for answering my questions today.
Very well. I believe that I am going now.
Okay.
I believe there is someone else who would like to.
There is one more
Man.
question. There is one more question, but if you want to go, we can maybe wait. If is another being coming, or are you, or is?
I don't know. I believe there is one more coming, but if there is one more question, Yes.
Okay, Michelle has a question. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thanks.
Hello, Michelle.
So I feel like, well, first I felt embarrassed when I did light language because it was weird. And also beings would push through me. So I would be like maybe in a public place, and then suddenly languages would just start coming out of my mouth, which is really embarrassing at the time. Or somebody would ask me something in English, I would answer in another language. So over time, I just came to trust whatever happens, happens. And mostly I use it to raise my own vibration, but I use it in healing sessions. And and somebody asked me, what is it exactly? And this was the best answer I had. So I'd like to know if it's accurate, because when I do healing, of course, I only want the highest and best information to be allowed to come through me. So I said, you know, like we have ancestors, and so if you can go beyond, we have ancestors on Earth who maybe I had a lifetime, or if you believe in reincarnation or whatever, like I've had a lifetime as a Syrian, as Egyptian, as a this, as a that. And then, so sometimes maybe I'll be speaking those languages, but maybe also I had a lifetime as a Pleiadian, Arcturian, Lemurian, Atlantean, or maybe you did, and they're stepping forward to give you messages, because that's what it feels like when I'm doing healing on a person, that the sound that is birthed is to them, for them, specifically to heal whatever imbalances they have. So trying to explain to someone why I just made a bunch of gibberish at them. I would like to be as precise as possible. And so I feel like I said, you know, I believe in reincarnation, and I believe we've had lifetimes as these people. And sometimes you have ancestors and or people who were in your soul group, and they come forward and they have something to say to you. And the interesting part, it might be surprising to them, but it really helps them feel calm, and it really helps them. And a lot of times they say that feels like home. So am I accurate in my assessment of what languages are? Like, I mean, it could be anything from any planet, this planet, an angel, whatever.
Yes, yes. However, it doesn't always need to be the fact that you have lived so many of these lives, and this is why you are speaking that language, or their ancestors or their past lives experiences or connections are coming to them. Although it can also be that. It can also be that, as I explained to Lucia, that when there is a willingness, when there is a light bulb, so to speak, because many beings, they are looking at your energy. They may not be able to see that you are shopping, but they will see the light, and they will come to this light and try to facilitate communicating with you as this light, to communicate and to bring you forward. It is like in the darkest realms of the spiritual world, when somebody has a good thought, there is a light which goes off. And then the beings from the higher realms come immediately, instantly, to try and facilitate that light to grow, to communicate where it's possible. So when there is light shining in the darkness, it will attract beings who want to help you heal. It may not always be past lives. You can explain it that your desire to heal attracts angels, attracts spiritual beings, attracts friendly galactic beings who wish to heal through you, because you are willing to, and you are serving, and you are a channel in that moment.
Yes.
And that these beings are coming through you, for you, Michelle, but also for the person you are giving to. So I believe at the end of a healing session, you are both feeling wonderful, are you not? Not
Yes.
only the person you've healed, but also yourself.
Yes.
So this is the most simplest of explanations that you can give. If the idea of reincarnation and having lived many, many different lifetimes, yes, those can trickle down, but it doesn't always have to trickle down through language and through
It could just
healing.
be that whoever shows up for the highest good at that time.
Exactly. It can be your ancestors. It can be someone who you have lived with or communicated with in the past. But I'm saying it does not have to be.
Right. But it's just one of the possibilities. So
Yes.
I've also noticed that when I'm doing sessions recently, I'm starting to get packets, I guess you would call, of information like feelingscapes, and I'm understanding what they're trying to say to the client. Like,
Wonderful. Yes, very
that,
well.
that's pretty cool. I want to know, actually, I don't know if you can delve into, so I did a session yesterday and I just like went with it. I'm like, oh, well, I have this packet of information in my head. I'm just going to share it. So what I'm getting is, and then I share that information. If you can tap into that stream, can you? Number one.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
However, I will tell you that you are being a conscious channeler in that moment and are receiving information for them. And this is wonderful. And that is what you're doing.
Yeah.
I cannot at this moment, it is not a 100% energy channeling right here that I can tap in.
Okay.
But continue, believe in that. Believe that this is a wonderful development and trust it and allow it to open it up. Open up, keep opening up those packages and share what is coming into your mind. Because even though you may say something and the client cannot relate to it at that moment, they will later on understand the connection. So do not doubt what you need to say. And believe that it's coming to you from the beings, the angels, the guides who are working through you.
Right. I think a lot of people think, like, I have no connection of starting languages to a church situation. So people are like, what is that? And I'm like, light language?
God works in many ways. Yes.
So
your God, our God, all God, the universal God, their creator, however you want to call this energy, this being, works in many, many ways to reach her children. So whether it's through the Christian concept of speaking in tongues and interpreting them, if that is edifying and uplifting and educational, it is good. It is good. And here is the word good. Let that sink in. It is good. Light languages can be good. They can facilitate goodness. When they facilitate goodness and bring the being to good actions, which in turn feed the spirit, which raises the spirit up. Raising of your spirits and your vibration is not only a matter of meditation and feeling the goodness. It is then a matter of action. Your body exists to act. And when your body is acting, it is then feeding back to your spirit, good elements to your spirit. So when speaking in tongues in a church or receiving light languages and being inspired from them and receiving perhaps an idea from them later on about an art project or a writing project or a musical project, you don't know when you receive a light language that releases ideas within your minds and your hearts later on.
Mhm.
Know that. It's a mystery, but it's a wonderful mystery. You
Mhm.
don't need, no, let go of the mind. Let go of
No, I
intellectual
don't feel like I need to know.
I
Okay.
am not speaking now to you.
Okay.
This is my parting message because now I am going.
Okay. Thank you.
Intellectualizing. It is important to have as much knowledge as you can, especially if you want to now and later on be able to converse with several levels of your society, be it highly intellectual to the less intellectual. So I am not saying it is not important to be an intellectual person of knowledge. However, it is important to know when to put that aside and to allow the spirit to flow and allow things to happen without having to figure out exactly what, where, who, and how it is happening in order to allow it. Allow it, feel it, discern it, and then decide you continue with it or you don't. It is always your decision. And with that, I have been here a while now. I hope that my words and my time with you have been energetically and intellectually. I will now be a comic in this moment, edifying for all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Corey. Namaste.
It has been an interesting pleasure.
For us as well.
Okay.
Okay.
I cannot get a clear. I know that I can't really tell. It's either General Morgan or an angel, but I cannot tell exactly. So I'll take a break.
Did
If
you
that's
drink
okay.
some water or drink some
Yeah.
water?
Yes.
In the meantime, while you're kind of taking a little break, Wendy had like some comments because she's like the light language woman. So maybe Wendy, why don't you go ahead and just for maybe 2 minutes, giving Ruth just a little break, and we'll pick it back up with her.
Hey guys, how you doing? Can you hear me okay, Karen?
Yeah, you're fine. Thanks.
Great. Hi everyone. I just wanted to, you know me, I love light languages. It's my highest excitement. And I just wanted to really just reiterate that everything, was it Corey that was speaking right at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. About it's interesting, all of the synchronicities, because everything that Corey said was actually everything that my guides have been telling me since I started speaking them, as far as how they work, why they work, how they work in different ways. Many of us are also writing them. So that was one thing that we didn't really get to touch on too much, but which is something I'd love to expand on, because more and more of us are actually writing these light codes. But it was interesting, the similarities that that my guides, the emissaries of the Light Collective, also said to me when I first started speaking them was that it's not always one specific language, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a culmination of many. Sometimes it's a collective. But they used music and symphony and as a metaphor, to compare how it makes you feel. And so I was enjoying how Corey kept going back to, but how does it make you feel, as far as not necessarily needing to know who, what, where, when, and how, but just allowing them to flow. And that whole trust factor has been huge with me over the last several years in utilizing the languages. But I loved that there was so many similarities. It was very confirming and validating for me to hear using those exact same words. How does a piece of music that has no words move you potentially to tears? Or, so, and think about how boring, say, for example, a movie would be if there wasn't music attached to it, because the music helps kind of create the scene, right? You get the scary scene, it's boom, 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 your heart gets going. And so we have a physical reaction to sound. And in of itself, it can be healing. Somebody can listen to hip hop and find it extremely healing, whereas somebody else would listen to classical music and find it extremely healing. That doesn't make one more healing or more effective than the other. It's that each of us has a different frequency. So it was very interesting. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that because it was very validating and confirming for me. And thank you all for your questions. It was wonderful. Thank you, Trinity.
Oh my goodness, Wendy. Thank
Love you,
so
baby.
I love you. Oh my God.
It's so good to see you. I know Ruth and I haven't done a webinar together in a long time. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Me too. And thank you because, I'm not in trance and I'm speaking and I'm thinking, oh God, I hope this is not me. And
well,
so
I had to laugh too, you guys, because I got to meet her, and it was the night. That's why I was laughing too, because I was there the night that Captain
General Morgan,
that he came through. Remember, we were sitting at the table, and it was like, I don't know, 2 a.m. or something. And
I remember.
And he comes through. General comes through, and it was just the funniest thing. And we were speaking Naga, and it was just such a great environment. Yes. But so yeah, I wanted to let everybody know that too, you guys. If you have the opportunity to go to some of these events where we've got these, anytime we've got these events going on around the country, if you guys can get there, please do, because I'll tell you what, meeting everybody, and that was the day actually, and it was there in Arkansas that the name, like you said earlier, that the name Trinity Morgan was born, because
also, yes. Also, I didn't go into that, but yeah, the Trinity part came with Wendy because we were going to start a group, and I said, I'm going to call myself Trinity. And you said, yes.
I said, oh my God, yes, you should. And then how did you? And you said, well, wait, what do I need? I need a last name or something. I don't even remember how Morgan came up.
Yeah, that was from the general, because that night when we were channeling around the table with Sarah, it was so funny because Sarah and I were talking snake language back and forth. And if anybody had been watching it, it looked like we were going to kill each other, but we weren't, because that's how they communicate.
Exactly.
It was so funny.
Yeah, so I'll let you get back into your state, because I'm already can feel the language is bubbling, so I'm just gonna let you be.
Oh no, that's great. And can you give a blessing before I begin again, honey?
Oh, I would love to. Oh gosh, yes, I would love to. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, doll. So Shiawaniwa o ona ke puakasha tela ko sesho soa koina tasha ne kaso tashokwa. Namaste.
Namaste. So that was powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Wendy.
However, even though the General Morgan would come, Arusha would like to come.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring her through. I'm going to bring her through. Thank you. Hello, this is Arusha. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Arusha. Welcome, and thank you for coming.
Okay, well, let's turn up the vibes here, and let's get some music going and get our bodies going and get some joy into this room, because that's what I'm all about, is bringing joy. So,
Well,
how is
we
everybody?
turn on the music, because if I turn it on, it'll come out wrong. So it'll have to be on your side, or else it won't work. But we'll follow your dancing body as a indication that there's
Yes, I
music
meant
playing.
that. Yes, it was meant symbolic. Like, everybody, just turn up the music in your head and dance and move and feel the joy, because all of this information that you are receiving is wonderful. It's also a little bit heavy at times, and it's like, oh boy, there is so much to learn, and oh boy, there is so much to reach, and oh boy, the world is burning, and oh boy. And yes, that is all true. However, if you have the spirit of joy and upliftment, it is easier to uplift others, easier to overcome obstacles together. It's not true.
Very
A
true.
lot of healing takes place in laughter, as you know, and in joy. Yes. And there is a reason to be joyful for everything, no matter what it is. No matter what it is, there is joy in everything. I will not speak like this the whole conversation. I just want to emphasize that if a human being chose to, you could be joyful every moment of your life, no matter what was befalling you. And I know this sounds like a impossibility to some. Karen, I think you know from your education and your experiences with India and your teachers that this is possible. Is that not true?
I believe you are correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that is one of their callings in life, or missions in life, is to observe and see everything completely different eyes than that of the personal ego. And oh, this is happening to me. And oh, why is this happening to me? And they are also transmuters. Consider a train will do them and smack, and it will come out the other end as flowers. Yes. As I hope you like that imagery, but yes.
Yes.
And so it is with us. Things come at us, and depending on how we understand, on how we can observe and see things from a larger perspective, and learn and transform what is meant to transform within us, when it comes out the other side, it is fragrant and beautiful and joyful. And this is my message for you today, my dear, dear brothers and sisters, because we are ultimately galactic families. Yes, I will say that. Yes. So, feeling the joy. Feeling the joy right now. Share your joys. Share your joys with one another.
Thank you. Are you able to take some questions?
I am, but I would also like to hear some joy. I am serious.
Well,
Because
everyone unmute their mic and sound their joy, please. Woohoo!
Well, I didn't mean in that way necessarily.
Okay.
Share beautiful things that have happened to you in this week, in this month, and what's happening. Even the hardships, let them be seen from the perspective that they come out as joy. Help each other see that without educating each other from above to below, but simply sharing, because this is also a form of upliftment. I know that many times joy is seen as a byproduct. It is something you earn after a hardship. It is something you earn after a hard day's work. No, I am saying it is something you can be in all the time. And it is not trivial in any way at all. Can you all understand what I am saying?
Perfect. Well, if there's anyone who would like to unmute and share some experiences they have from the aspect of the joy, then please do. Anybody?
I do.
Okay,
Consider,
go ahead.
yes, yes,
It's very simple, but I loved it so much.
yes.
I finally started really committing to like going through my paperwork and responsibilities and like tidying up and like just finally committing and doing it. And I thought to myself, I really need a desk with drawers because I have all these boxes of papers and I have all these art supplies, etc. And I need a desk with drawers. And I left the house in a half an hour later, and I was walking down the street, and on the street was beautiful, solid,
And there you go.
solid
You
maple
manifested.
desk, and three men passing by at the same time who I got to say, "Hey, would you guys mind helping me carry this desk?" And they were like, "Sure." And so that was
Yes.
a very simple, beautiful joy. And I was like, oh, we got
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. It is like manifestation immediate and immediate joy. Yes, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I want to not take too much time because I know that your webinars, because I listen to them, I do not speak, is a limited time. But thank you for sharing that. It is an example of intent. You made a commitment to move your body to do something, and you started to feel the joy of it. And then you manifested a literal joy, and the universe conspired all together. Three men, yours, Michelle. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay,
Karen, I will take
I do have some questions for you, if you would take
Yes.
one.
Yes,
This will
please.
fall into your joyful message, so I think it's right
Very
in
well.
line. Okay.
Very well.
Renee wants to know. She says, "What are the most important specific actions or behaviors we should be doing to prepare for ascension?"
Well, find joy in all that you are experiencing, no matter what it is. Find the benefit in what you consider hardships or obstacles. That's one thing. That will raise your vibration significantly. And vibration needs to match vibration. So, therefore, the higher you raise your vibration, the easier it will be for you to communicate and to feel and to see those in the dimension that is trying to help raise you into or the next place you might be going. That's one thing. Prayer is another. And I don't mean I know there are words on your planet that create, a feeling of, oh, that reminds me of having to do something. But you can call it prayer or meditation. However, the concept of prayer usually implies others, being other-centered, praying for others, caring about others, and sometimes only prayer can help you care for someone else when you might feel, I hate that person. I hate them and I will never forgive them. Oh, does that take away joy from our lives? But it is understandable because that action that they did is mounted on other experiences before it. And that is why it is so intense. They may even be experiences you have forgotten, but they are mounted. And so, therefore, it is very intense and difficult to feel the joy. Therefore, prayer can help forgiving someone or loving them. loving them back into who they are. When you love somebody back into who they are, you are growing into who you are as well. It is always a mutual thing. Like when Michelle is speaking her light language and getting information consciously and giving it and healing. And then it is with all of you who do healing. I know there are great healers in this room and great speakers of language. And when you are giving and taking with another being, be it spiritual or human, in that action, then there is joy for all involved. So that is another way to be other centered in whichever way, whether it is prayer, if you cannot get out, it can be prayer. It can be writing letters to people who are lonely. It can be bringing little packets to the elderly in your local nursery home, even if you do it anonymously. It can be actions of service in any way, shape, or form that raise your spirit and your vibration. And this is all part of ascending because those who are of a higher ascension cannot abide where there is selfishness and greed and deceit and purposeful action against another. These things do not exist in the light aspect of the higher dimensions. Therefore, when you are doing acts of goodness and praying and raising your vibration and singing and dancing and seeing and feeling the joy in all you do, then this is how you prepare for ascension. In purpose, important is involving yourself in the community around you and serving in any way, shape, or form, and seeing the joy in all things, no matter what it is. I hope that has helped you with your question to some degree.
I think so. I don't know. I can't answer for her, but I think so.
Very well. It was a statement.
It was a good statement. How are you? Are you willing? Are you tiring? And do you want to stick around?
I'm so happy I can keep going.
Okay. Well, Stephanie has a question. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Hello.
She did have a question. She was in her car, so let me see. There she is.
Yes, I am. It took me a minute to get to my phone. Greetings
Hello,
and
Stephanie.
welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask a question about crystals and how, if there are practices, couldn't think of the word, practices in your culture that you make use of crystals in, and if so, what are those things, and what kind of crystals do you use, if any? Thank you.
Thank you. And that would require an 8-hour class to explain.
Sorry.
I am being a little bit, I am joking with you a little bit, my dear. However, yes, crystals are essential. They are breathing, living beings. So we communicate with them very naturally in a way that is perhaps different from how you communicate with them. What I want to say is, of course, you communicate with them when you speak to them in your mind and when you have intentions for them, and they do their best to fulfill your intentions for them. However, yes, the density prohibits some perhaps from actually hearing the voice of the crystals or seeing the energy go out from the crystals to its intended place. So we can hold a crystal and say, please go to such and such a location and bring such and such a message or energy, and we can experience it doing that.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yes, and there are crystals of all different sorts. However, we encourage you to use crystals for healing on your planet. We don't always need them for healing in that sense on our planet. There's just a lot of communication, and we can educate through them as well. We can use them as sources of education in classrooms and just sources of joy and communication into other galaxies. It's just depending on the purpose for which that particular crystal. We can craft crystals to have certain intentions as well. We can put intentions into crystals with their allowance, of course, and then we can use them for different things, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Can you give me an example of what you would say to a crystal if you were programming an intention into it? Just an example.
Well, tell me what you would say. What kind of intention have you used into your crystals? Because I believe it would be the same as what we would say.
Yeah, for the most part, I make it general because sometimes I lose them or I give them away. So I just intend that whoever has possession of this crystal, that it serve their greatest and highest good.
What do you mean? I understand what you mean. What I mean is, what do you mean? I am being joking with you.
Oh, you're funny. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So, do you buy crystals? Do you hunt for them? Are you often given crystals? How does that happen?
I didn't hear what you said the first time. Am I what them?
Do you buy them? Do you hunt for them? Are you given them often?
No, I go to look for them to buy them, and I have quite a few. Probably could really have a lot more, but I kind of hoard them all into mostly 1 or 2 or 3 rooms because I want them to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And I like being able to see them and pick them up, and so, and sometimes I do give them away as gifts.
Yes. Everything in nature is meant to serve. In other words, be a part of something larger than itself. So you can choose some of your crystals, and first you can ask it if it is already programmed for a specific purpose, if it has already been used and programmed for healing, for magical spells, for whatever programming someone may have put into it, or the nature of its character. What kind of character, what kind of programming does it have itself? Because not all crystals will be used for the same purposes and for the different energy centers of your bodies as well. So, do you have a way of finding out if your crystals they already programmed? Can you use a form of dowsing to get this information, or do you know someone who can help you get this information?
I have a dowsing pendulum, but I haven't used them for my crystals. I mean, I I never thought to ask if they were already programmed for a certain thing. I sage them, I wash them, I sage them, and then I know that certain properties are associated with certain stones, and so sometimes I'll intention them if I'm doing a distance healing, or if I'm doing Reiki, or I'm focusing on chakras, then I'll use certain stones. But and so to me, being kind of a newbie in so many ways, still, I'm early down this path. I mean, I'm only like 4 years in, and there's still so much. There's a lot I've learned, but there's still so much I am learning, and that's kind of the scope of it for right now. So anything that you can share, I will take in and receive.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that. So take your pendle And when you feel comfortable using it with them, or again, if you haven't used it for a while, hold them over your crystals and they will speak to you. And you ask, are you male? Are you female? Do you need to be cleansed? Can I put you in a place of cleansing? Are you here for healing? Are you here for communication? Are you here simply to purify? For what intention are you here for? How can I use you? Now, of course, these crystals and the stones with colors which match the chakra areas, yes, you already understand to use them for that purpose. So you can also ask them, how are you doing? Do you need cleansing? Can I use you today for this particular purpose? And so you may want to switch up. If one stone you've been using a long time, you may want to switch up and use another stone with a similar color, for example, things of this nature. So if your crystal has been already programmed and has certain energy in it from other uses from other people, then you can either find different ways to cleanse it. There are different sources, as you know, about cleansing your crystals. And then you meditate with it a little bit, and you can first thank it for being there with gratitude, treat it with gratitude, and then tell the crystal that your intention is to, for example, if you want to communicate with somebody who is a little bit distant from you, or you just want to connect your mind with somebody and sync it together, you can put an image of you and that person next to each other and put this crystal in the middle, and you can use your pendle and you can sort of communicate in that way to them. Can you see my hand movement?
Yes, I can.
Yes. So you can bring a communication of a beautiful communication between you and someone else you want to communicate with, or just to send them some good energy. So we do the same. We will take a crystal and we will first thank it and communicate with it and breathe it in, its energy, and give what we can to them that they wish from us. And then we will say, is it acceptable to you that we send a message through you? And then we will think of the other person and then we will send this message. It is just a way to communicate. It doesn't always have to be that way, but somebody who's a little bit more distant, telepathy may not work as well. So therefore, it is a use for communication in that way at times. But we're just explaining how you can program a crystal. And then you can also have a beautiful crystal and just say, I just want to enjoy your company. And I'm very joyful to be around you. And I want to just enjoy your cleansing light. And thank you very much for your cleansing light. And thank them for what they give and what they do. Because you think of them as living children. If you saw each of your crystals as a child, or as a puppy, or as a cat, or anything where you find joy in something living. And so when you walk in the room, you attend to your children or to your pets or to your birds. So attend to your crystals as though they are living beings, because they are. And they would like that kind of give and take with you more often. I mean, you are already doing that, but consider them with this image, and then your relationship with them might deepen, and you might find yourself communicating even more and even more deeply. And then they will tell you, we would like to send our energy over here today, or you can use us to cleanse this chakra today for this particular person. So you will have a communication that is much more open and free with time. Or I did say with time, did I not? It can be tomorrow if you believed. I was listening to your last guest. But it is, for the most humans, difficult to make that kind of quantum jump in belief and manifestation. Therefore, I say, it is possible right now. But until then, until you can make that jump, then just allow yourself to believe that that kind of communication and relationship with your crystals is more than possible.
Well, I do refer to them as family, and anytime I get new ones, I thank them for joining the family.
There you go. Beautiful. Very well.
And
Thank
thank
you,
you so
Stephanie.
much. Very well.
You're
Thank you so
very,
much.
very welcome. I hope that brought some joy. I can hear it brought some joy.
Absolutely did.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Oh, very well, very well. That makes me happy. Okay, is there any other question for me?
Yes, there's a question, and I'm going to ask, and you may or may not want to answer it, but here it goes. What do you think? This is from Udiyaman Shukla. The question is, what do you think about the automobile industry on Earth? Which car company do you think is going to be a big player in the in the emerging electric car segment?
I will only say this, that, and this is something who the person asking already knows, there has been the ability to produce cars without carbon monoxide emissions already for a long time. And we are waiting for the day when this technology will be available for all, and all cars will be built with different forms of energy use without hurting your atmosphere, without you having to breathe this into your bodies. So we will say that this is a certain sadness for us to see this. It was inevitable that the automobile was going to be discovered and built. It was. As you follow your history of movement throughout your planet, yes, there's always been a desire to go past walking to moving on animals to building carriages and wagons and then bicycles. And then eventually the automobile, yes. And then your airplanes. There's always this will always, has always come back, and always there is effort to make new technology to keep moving and moving. I forgot to mention trains as well. I cannot tell you which automobile industry will be on the leading edge, because you will go and you will buy the stock. That's why you are asking. Yes, I am joking with you, my dear. You cannot hear me, can you? This is not a live question, is it, Karen?
It was, no, they can hear you. It's a person from the YouTube chat. So
Very well. I was making a joke, but I cannot tell you. I do not know. I cannot tell you the second part of your question.
okay, perfect. Wendy has I think this could be our final question, but Wendy, go ahead. You have a question.
Hi, Arusha. This is Wendy. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Wendy, hello.
Hello, lovely. It's been a while
Do you
since
remember me?
Of
Do you
course,
remember me, Wendy?
of course, it's been a while since we've spoken. And I wanted to
Yes,
thank
yes.
you and our Pleiadian family for all of the love and guidance that you help us through. And really, my question, or maybe it's more of a comment, but in the idea of joy, as we here on Earth have come to face challenges, to challenge ourselves, I have found that as we enlighten and lighten up on ourselves a little bit, and
Yes.
I love wordplay. And one day I heard from, and I think it was from you guys, that the word joy is in every journey, and it begins and ends in joy, and because it begins in J-O and ends in Y. And I just thought that was kind of funny. But I wanted to ask you, we did come here to face challenges on purpose. And I know sometimes from a different perspective, it's hard for other beings to understand what it really feels like to come and feel the experience of being completely disconnected from source. And so this is what we came to understand, and I believe to come out of and become aware of, that we are always connected to source. And so my real question for you is, what tidbit could you give us when sometimes these challenges that we face on earth in that moment can feel anything but joyous. And that how can we quickly change our perspective and see even that darkest moment in a perspective of joy, that we came to experience on this journey. I just wondering if you could comment on that.
Yes, we do understand what you go through and why. We do. However, many of the emotions that you suffer with, and I mean all of you, are quite unnecessary. And I mean this in the kindest of ways. I mean this in the most understanding of ways. I do. However, and I know that this sounds that we don't understand, but we do. We do. However, it is possible, and you said it in your commentary, the disconnection from God. If that connection is always there, if it is possible to pray through the hardest of times, like your saints have done in your history, then it is possible to feel the hope and the power to come quickly out of your despair. May not be the answer you were hoping for. There is benefit in all that happens to you. There is benefit in all of the turmoil. There is ultimately restoration and growth in all that is experienced. I do ask your forgiveness, dear Wendy, because I believe you were hoping for a quicker solution.
Nope, not at all. Actually, I know the answer is the answer you gave is perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I do feel bad because I know that when someone is in the midst of despair, all of these words become intellectual and seem ineffective. They do. I would say to regain the perspective that I have shared with you, if you feel so lost that it is impossible to regain it on your own, then to do the hardest thing when one is in despair, and that is to reach out to someone else. Yes, to reach out and to share and to talk, to walk and to do anything to shake it. And many times, many of you take responsibility for people around you that you do not have to take responsibility for, and yet you take responsibility for them. And many times you take control for things that you have no control of. And so you add to your own burden in this way, which is one reason we say that a lot of your despair is unnecessary. Now, this is different from taking responsibility for people who are homeless, for example. Yes, they have made choices and have come to that point, but this is not what I mean. I think you know what I mean. I think you know that we take control or we take responsibility for people in our lives who we do not need to take responsibility for. Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes, this is what I mean. There are acts of charity that is very different from taking responsibility where it does not belong. This is what I'm differentiating. Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Is
you
there
for your perspective. Much
You're
love.
welcome. Much love. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're at the top of the hour now. So if we can, we'd like to tell you thank you so very much for being here and bringing your joy and your love and your energy. And we'd also wish you well. We're going to ask you if Sephira can come back now so that we can close down the webinar.
It has been a great joy to be here again. Thank you to all of you for gathering. And please share your joy and support with each other. And if you notice that one of you is having a hard time seeing the joy in all things, well, by all means, please be a friend to them and help them to have, again, hope and to be able to stand on their feet once again. So yes, this is other-centered. This is charity. And I don't mean charity in a way that is painful to the other one, but a charity nonetheless, which is a beautiful thing. So thank you very much. I will go now. Namaste. I will be back soon, I hope.
Well, you're always welcome. So. Namaste.
They never really want to go, you know.
Yeah, I
they're
know.
not gone. She's not gone, but she.
That's right.
Hello.
Well, welcome back. Thank you for the very nice channeling and sharing your different beings with us and answering all of our questions. I'm cold, so that's why I look like I'm wrapped in a blanket. It's a little chilly.
That's fine. So I had never channeled Corey before. That's why I was getting the message that somebody who I don't know or haven't channeled yet. You're welcome, Reinhard. You're welcome, everybody who's saying something on the side there. But yeah, but I'm so grateful for Wendy for confirming that, because you know, somebody who is just getting back into it, it's so nice when people confirm the message that it's not just coming from my head, or when I channel in another group, somebody can see who I channel, which is pretty awesome. I love that. So these things are all very encouraging, yes. And they would encourage everyone to try to channel in any way, shape, or form, be it writing. Like Wendy said, we didn't touch on that enough, but you know, writing is such an amazing way to channel information. Even, you know how sometimes novels like Harry Potter, New Moon, or things that like move the world for better or worse, but nonetheless move the world. I mean, this literature is just such an amazing form of channeling in any way, shape, or form. And, you know, music, painting, anything.
Writing
it's like
is such an accessible thing too, because you write all the time. So you can even do it on your typewriter. I'm not typewriter, Lord. You could do it on your keyboard, on your computer. But it's that because people are, you know, you're used to typing your thoughts and letting them through. So it's such a very accessible thing. And I know that I always, when I teach, I always recommend starting with writing. And when you talk about automatic writing, it doesn't necessarily mean that your hands just independently work outside of you. It can be that you're hearing the information and typing it down, or you may in fact have that kind of, you know, so.
Yes, because the other day I was sitting here writing in my journal and I got this incredible feeling in my body. It was so amazing. And I was going to watch a TV series, and then I was like, no, right, because we're here now. So I started writing, and it wasn't automatic like you said, but the message just flows. So whether it's writing or it's all, for me, it's all light language. So whether we're speaking in a different dialect or, you know, doing all those things. So it's pretty inspiring. Anyway,
thank you, Sephira. And you know what, though? It's equally as validating for me, because absolutely word for word, everything you said is things that I've said over and over again about light language. So you don't know what a mirror of that validation and confirmation that is when, you know what I mean, for both of us. So that was really
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
And that's, I mean, we could
Thank
talk.
you.
And one of the things that like the symbols and stuff too, that people are starting to write, like those light codes and things like that. So, you know, I'll be on a webinar soon too, and we'll talk more about that and stuff too. But it was, so I just wanted to thank you too, for it was extremely validating for me. And the whole metaphor of using music is exactly what that's perfect. That's exactly the same thing that they've said to me. So it was so great to hear you say that. So thank you. And it's of course good to see you here today.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And I
funny how things come full circle, huh?
I know. It's amazing. Thank you, Karen, for being such a beautiful facilitator.
Well, thank you. So just so we can, well, of course you'll be back, so no questions about that. I'm glad you're getting back more involved in Human Colony after a little break.
Thank you.
I'm glad all the other people are kind of sort of coming back now. Everyone kind of goes away, hones their skills, and then pops back up. Yeah, so that's really good. Let me just make this announcement, and because while Wendy's here, I'm just going to make the announcement on the class that's going to take place on. I'm going to read the announcement in the way that it was given to me, so that way it won't be. But Wendy, you need to please confirm if it's going to be posted on the different pages and on the website. But the announcement goes as thus. Come join us Saturday and Sunday, November 10th and 11th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. EST, both days, for an unforgettable, enlightening, and healing 6 hours over 2 days of channelings, illuminations, liberations, and light language from the true light, presented by masters and teachers, Reverend Jim Charles, Wendy Wolf, Reverend Angie Speed, and Reverend Will Mitchell. Class cost is $111 USD. Payment accepted through PayPal. You can email reikiwithwill@gmail.com, and I'm sure this will be on a post so people can get to it easier. In the class, Jim, Wendy, Will, and Angie will channel, speak languages, light languages, and present about the true light with channelings from Elijah, Melchizedek, Athos, the emissaries of Light Collective, various archangels, and maybe others. Little catch there. So if you go there, it will be Saturday, 10th and 11th. It's 2 days, 111 euros. So dollars. So it's probably very much well worth your time. Wendy, do you want to say anything about it real quick?
And actually, yeah, it just all went together really quickly. So actually, you received the same information I did this morning. So thank you so much, Will, for putting that all together as quick as you did. So yeah, we were getting the dates together. So I appreciate the shout out for all of that. So hopefully any of you that can make it, I'm really excited. It was just one of those things that once again, you know, Spirit brought us together.
So it has to be on the website for sure. Look on the Hucolo main pages. Look on Will, Reiki with Will page. Look on Wendy's page.
I'll be sharing it too. So yeah, we'll make sure and we'll make sure that there's and I'll put a link in the comments section of on this video today too.
Oh yeah, and put the whole ad in the comments of this one.
I will.
Grab the whole text and
put it in the I'll grab the whole link for everything.
Not in the chat though. Put it in the comments. So that it doesn't disappear. Okay.
Yep.
And for everyone who is not a member of Human Colony, for just a small pittance, just a micro amount of $10 a month, you can support Human Colony and all of our workings. That helps us pay for our website, but also our Zoom room, and to have a little bit extra to do some nice things with Human Colony. You can go to hucolo.org/webinars, and you can join the Club Hucolo. And with that, you are always guaranteed a spot in the paid webinars with Jim, which are at least twice a month. Also, if you are not a subscriber to our channel, right down there, a little button, and you can push that. We're getting a lot more views than we have subscribers. So please, if you can push that button and subscribe, and then every time we have a new video, it will pop up on your screen. You'll know when to join in. And on Fridays, we have the channeling class with Ian. That's on Friday afternoon. And if you go to Facebook and look up Hucolo channeling class, then you can join that for free, and those classes are free. And then on Wednesdays, Sephira has her hangout for people that have been to any of the workshops, but also to people that are just integrating new energies, having questions, hanging out and talking. Did you want to say something about it?
That's what I want to say about it.
Okay.
I wasn't
All right.
prepared to say anything about it, but
Okay,
yeah,
but
if
she has two more things she wants to say. You said in the
I do.
message? Okay.
Yes,
Go
two more
ahead.
things, but thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
no
One,
problem.
Jim is now officially Reverend Jim Charles because he was initiated in the Order of Melchizedek. So he is officially, he can say Reverend Charles now. And I believe he said he's going to change his business cards to reflect that. Because I know a few people in the chat here, like, what was that? That's one thing. The other thing is that if you read after what Karen posted, when she posted that I'll be channeling today, a way to reach me, and if you would like private counseling sessions with any of these beings, then feel free. That's awesome. I work Sunday and Monday, but Tuesday through Saturday, I usually have time. So
Sorry for that. Yes, if you want to contact
that's okay.
for private sessions or go to our website, you can find all that information in the description, also on the YouTube. So it's not only on the Facebook pages, but it's also on the YouTube below. So, and also, I think she probably has a channeling page on the Hucolo website. If not, we got to make sure she gets one. So, okay, everyone, next week,
Thank you.
we will have Wendy. No, I'm so wrong. Next week, we're going to have Jim channeling again. And then the following week, I'll have to let you know next week. The schedule for November is still not clear, but next week, definitely Jim will be back. So we will see you then.
Okay.
And much love, everyone. Namaste. And
Much love. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
If you're going to be on later tonight, I'm actually going to stay up late. Go over to CW Chanter's channel. It's going to be myself, Rob Gothier, probably Vashta Narada, who is the artist of a lot of the beautiful ET paintings, as well as CW Chanter. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the spiritual world a little bit, talking a little bit about discernment, talking about ethics and channeling, and also some of the things going on with the SSP and the Corey Good saga. So we'll
where is that? Where do we find that, honey? Where do we find that?
CW Chanter, CW Chanter channel. It'll also I'll also put it into the Hucolo 2 stream once that's up. But tonight at 7 p.m. EST, we'll be there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah?
Wow, enjoy. That's going to be awesome. Thank you.
It'll be a nice chat. So it spontaneously has come about as of today.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't know. But anyway, much love, everyone, and we will see you.
Thank you.
Next week. I want to do what Kevin Moore does when he snaps and the thing goes off. So I'm going to try it. Ready? We'll see you next time.